Hey guys, welcome to Town Hall number 6. This is our first Town Hall of the year. Thank you so much for being with us. And here we have some quite exciting things to share. Today we'll be updating you guys on the Mainnet status. Since we're live, we have been running live, and Thijs will share with you where we're at with that. We'll also be sharing the roadmap and where we're at for this year and what our plans are. And then we have a pretty exciting bit where we'll demo something for you. And of course, throughout the session, please feel free to ask any questions you may have in the chat. And in general, interaction in the chat is much encouraged because then I know where you guys are at, and it helps to moderate also. So with that, I think we'll just get going straight away. I'd like to invite Thijs on stage because he'll get us going with the mainnet status. Hello, hello. Yes, Thijs. Welcome to the stage.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you and see you. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you, and nice to be here again.
Yes, we're back. We're back fresh in the new year. It's nice to be back.
Yeah, exactly. I think actually Carsten will join us well for the Mainnet Status, right?
Super.
Or what? I think that was the plan, to be honest, right?
Yeah, I mean, if Carsten's here and up for joining, please come on stage. That'll be great.
Yeah.
Nice. Hello.
Me and Carsten will just together.
Nice. It's great to see you guys here. We're gonna have a nice jammy town hall today, I think, with lots of updates and news.
Yeah, because I actually think Carsten, there is some. Yeah, so I think he has some general updates on where we are with the network, what happened since we went live, how it'll actually go, and so forth, right? And some numbers as well. I don't know. Can you actually say something here, Carsten?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, it's just because we have a little problem with the camera. But anyway,
no
so
worries.
yeah,
Welcome.
We have just investigated, or we're actually monitoring the network over time. And yesterday we have produced nearly 800,000 epochs, and we have been live for 67 days. So in this period, we have then. It's always nice when you have a new system, because then you actually get a lot of live data. And what we have seen is that we had some performance issue with the database, which we are working on. We had we also had some crashes, especially in the beginning of the which we have corrected all time. And then we have some scheduled shutdown. So in general, we have corrected. We are working. The whole system is based on what we call the Hybrid data structure, and this is the term is has invariant binary object notation, and it's a way to store data in a way so you can identify the uniqueness. The whole data system is built on this. And we observed that we had a bug in a subdocument, which we have corrected. And then we also observed over time that we had some performance issue when we were actually trying to, especially from the user point of view, we had that when we tried to update the database, the wallet, it took a very long time. So what we have implemented is what we call TRT, and it's the term is transaction reverse table. This means that when you have a transaction, you can get a faster, instead of searching for it, you can actually get a response faster, much faster than previously. And we are also working on caching, which we have also improved, and we expect that is finished this week. And and then we have actually two incidents, the 3rd of January and the 9th of January. We had two incidents where one node in the network did not agree on the consensus, and we are still investigating this. We haven't really looked into it in deeply. We have worked on other stuff, but we will look at that. And then we have last thing we have is that we have due to when we shut down, we have some logged archives which we also try to fix. So this is what we have learned last 2 months. But in general, it's I would say for a fresh system, it's pretty stable. It's expected that we will have some unexpected behavior. It's always when you make a new system, you can try to invent some problem before you actually go live. But when you actually have a system, you actually know what the real problem is, and this is what we have now, which we are now working on. So that's the status for me.
Really nice. We have a question from the audience. What is an epoch? Can you clarify?
Yeah, in a normal, in a normal blockchain, you have a block, and an epoch. We don't really work like a blockchain because it's not a blockchain. But an epoch is when because we use a system called a hash graph, so we use a consensus algorithm, and an epoch is when there is consensus on what we agree on. So this means it's in principle a block. So it's like a block, you can say. It's just not like a blockchain, because a classical blockchain is a race, but we are working with a graph consensus, so it's another way of doing consensus. But in principle,
you could say it's like each time a distributed system reach consensus.
Yeah.
At each round it reach consensus where basically all nodes agree on the truth or the state of the system. Then you have an epoch, right?
Yeah, exactly. And actually, just to mention the two incidents we had, the 3rd and the 19th, was that one of the nodes didn't agree on the consensus. And this is because in principle all the nodes has to agree, and if one node doesn't agree, it's actually excluded from the network, and then it has to join again. So that, but it should in principle. We don't really know why it didn't. It should, but it's actually a check that you don't violate rules. So if one or more doesn't agree, then they are excluded from.
But just to mention, as Alex is also saying in the chat, an epoch is defined as when 2/3 of the nodes they reach consensus. But in the way we have implemented the system now to make sure that we catch bugs as fast as possible, we have it set to that all the nodes should agree. So of course, actually this bug that we have found is not actually a bug in that way, that the network should still be able to run afterwards. But now from now we have it so that all nodes should agree, because we're running all the nodes and we know that all the nodes should agree in the end.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll say it's probably we don't know why this node didn't. That's a problem which we are in. Yeah.
Which you have been working on. Like we did, I think, around 30 payout, right, to people who actually got Tagions on the wallets. And we investigated and we found some different bugs. And that's actually what also we've been talking about, Carsten. Like, and that's also why that's been fixing like the hyperstructure data document, right? And also tier caching on that side and how we do requests to the system, but also on the wallet side, we have fixed how we use the right keys and make requests to the system. So it's actually quite an update, which is being tested right now to come out next week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for the
That's great
update.
work.
And it's nice to hear it's running smooth. And of course, when you launch something totally novel, there are bound to be some bugs, but these seem not so critical. So that's also very reassuring. Great. And how's on personal? How's it been your experience actually launching the mainnet? It's quite a big milestone. Congratulations, also.
It's nice to have something run. It's what do you say, Phil?
Yeah, I think for me, I came in and worked at the company was in end of 2022, and it's kind of a weird feeling that you've been working on something for so long, and of course we've seen results. It's not this, but it's a different feeling to actually have something that's live, and in some way I think like we've worked so many tirelessly hours on this, and it's kind of like seeing a child be born, right? It's for us at least, it's been a huge milestone to reach. So the feeling of actually seeing that what you have made is being used, that is it's another different level of satisfaction than just writing code. Because it's always easy just to do stuff, but to actually get people to use it and to them having a good experience, that's a completely different task and a different milestone in my head. So seeing it actually be used and that's like a totally different level than all the different milestones we had last year.
Yes, and that's probably
right. You've been working on this for many years.
Working on this for too long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And maybe this is actually a good segue to the next part where we'll share a little bit about how we're going to be advancing the mainnet now that it's live, and what kind of developments will be worked on at the moment. We have before we move on, we just have a question here from Binary Bounty Boss. Can you elaborate on seeing the system is being used? How many utility projects are currently running on the system? Actually, this is a pretty good question, and we'll get to the utility in the next part where Thijs will show a bit of the roadmap. So maybe we can move on to that.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm just having
nice.
It's just
there's some banter in the chat.
Yeah.
KV saying that Carsten was Philip's age when he started.
Yeah.
Philip says that he's the same age, actually.
Yeah, so I'm also young, but Philip is a little younger.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and Thijs, you can share yours then.
No, just go ahead, right? I think you have the presentation.
Yeah, but it's in the Figma.
So I'm going to share the Figma. That's funny.
I can also share.
No. I think I'll figure it out some way or the other, right? So I'll take this Tagion.
Oh, by the way, Philip and Carsten, you can stay on stage also, if you want. Because Philip, you're gonna be on stage later. I think it's nice. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. I think.
But where did you go?
Go live. What happens now?
Yes, perfect. And just a tip for you guys in the audience: if you want to see the screen larger, just click on it, and it should enlarge on your screen.
Yeah. So I hope you can see the screen, right? I don't know what you can see actually.
Yeah, we can see the screen.
Okay, because I cannot see it myself. It's shared. That's funny. Okay. As like when we started the project actually many years ago, we had the first goal. We said in the first 3 to 5 years, we would like to actually create a system that is viable, which can be a real alternative system to the current incumbent monetary system that is scalable and have solid governance. And if we can just make the first components work within the first 3 to 5 years, that would be very great, like having the first mainnet, basically. And that's actually what's been completed, like the 7th of December this year. And that's very, very nice. It also means like, yeah, it's a big milestone, actually. I think for everyone who invested in the project and followed the project, worked on the project, many has come in and out, it was a big milestone. Thank you all for contributing and also supporting the project. It's been like, it's been a long journey for all of us. And now we can start to look at it with fresh eyes and start focusing more on adoption and utility. Because it's pretty hard to build anything if you don't have anything to build on, right? And that means we have the mainnet release, basically. We have also open sourced the code. I don't know if you saw this, but the idea is in general, like the system or its components should be a common good, and also people should be able to contribute on the system. So most of the source code for the Tagion system or the main repositories are open source. And also we released the first tokens that is in circulation now to about 30 wallets. There we actually found some bugs, which we just heard about, which are being fixed right now before we actually move on and scale up the system. It's a pretty normal process, I would say, comparing the size of the project. And then we're going into the next phase now, which is called utility and adoption. But also you could say it's not because utility and adoption and integrated financial ecosystems are fully segregated, it will overlap. But of course now we have a hard focus on making it actually usable for other projects, for builders, partners, everybody who wants to build on top independently, because that's of course very important if we want others to use the system. That means we have some blocks which we would like to focus on for sure this year, which we are working on already. Documentation. It's pretty nice. You can actually read about how to use the system, how the system works, and that's a big thing that needs to be done. So we enable others to both help actually contribute to the system, but also to use the system. Then we need a Tagion virtual machine, TVM. We have currently some hard-coded functions that can be executed, but it needs to be executed in a virtual machine so it can be run dynamically. And that also means that we enable, you could say, developers on top to write their own instructions to the system. So it's not hard-coded functions they can only call in the system. That's another very important part to actually make it usable for others on top of the system. That also goes together with opening up the network, so to speak, for usage. We have already created actually some of the standards for data protocols, data formats, but also the interfaces, standardize those things, protocols basically, so everyone knows how to use the system. And also create SDKs so it's easy to actually integrate with the system and use the APIs and communicate with the system with the, for example, the Hybon data formats and high-RPC data protocols or RPC protocol. That's also very important, so it's actually easy to use for developers. Then operational resilience. The reason why you have a distributed system is actually it's resilient, right? So it's fault tolerant. And right now we are running at, you could say also like you heard before, we want all nodes to agree on consensus. We want to start distributing it more. And also testing this to make it more resilient. And we are going to, that path actually already started now. And first you need to distribute the system. And of course, then we start to decentralize the system as well slowly. That's also something which we already start working on. Then we have another thing, data visibility and traceability. So basically making it easy to explore data in the system, like you could say like an Ethereum Explorer, how to actually query data, but also to see data in the system. so we can actually get access to data in an easy way without using low-level tools. Then we would like to start actually on the adoption track here and community track, explore local community needs and actually figuring out how local communities can actually start to make social experiments and use the system. That's also work that just started and has been enabled because actually now we have something which we can use. Then we also have token and ecosystem builder SDK, like an easy way basically to build a contract or instruction, say like a smart contract, an SDK for this, so enable others as well to build in a more easy manner. That's some of the things we would very much like to reach in 24. We are also like right now, of course, exploring this because it's of course work in progress, and we just started with this new big era, so to speak. But those blocks here should enable especially partners, builders, developers to use the system independently of you could say the core team, so they can start build independently. And also bring trust to the system by making it more operational resilient and start to decentralize the system. So that's some of the big tracks which we are working on and trying to enable adoption on this track, basically. On the concrete adoption cases like and partner projects, we still have as the Aeon and Acorn case, which is building with us basically, which is extremely valuable for us and the system because we have a concrete case where we are actually building assets together with them and they're utilizing the system. We also have our Just Pay wallet where all of our token holders are getting paid out tokens to. So that's actually also a pretty big use case where they'll get quite a lot of users here over the next couple of months when we start ramp up the payouts, but also get more users onto the wallet. And beside this, we are also, of course, fostering new, you could say, partnerships with local communities and builders and so forth to get more adoption. But of course, we need some of those components to be in place to actually make it usable for others to build on top. That's like high level roadmap. I don't know if it makes any sense, if there is any questions. What is some of the questions here?
Just to summarize then. In general, all these, the Tagion virtual machine and the SDKs and the documentation, all of these tools, I guess, are important for people who are currently, potential partners or individuals, developers. These are important tools for them to understand how to integrate with the system. So that's also why it's the main focus now. Going back to what was said earlier, we are live, but now we are full focused on developing tools for communities, organizations, and developers to actually be able to interface with the mainnet in a simple way. We have a question here from Dravenso. Can we expect Tagions to be on the open market in 2024?
It's a good question. I don't think so, but it can be. So our focus right now is to, if we mean an open market, we mean a central exchange. I think if that's the question, because an open market can be many things, right? Because right now the tokens are actually tradable. You can transfer them, basically. So they're out in the open. But right now, of course, we are enabling the interfaces and also integrations to other systems by creating those SDKs and interfaces. Before we have those things in place, it's pretty impossible to do those things, actually do the actual integrations. That's, of course, one thing that needs to be done. But also, like, we want to build as much value on the system as possible, because it's the value in the end, no matter what, that drives the demand and also, you could say, the uptake in the system, expectations, so to speak. It's the cases that drive the integrations. I mean, it should be organic. And that's, of course, also what we focus on, because the more demand we get, the more value will be basically you could say so to speak, represented in the system. And that's, of course, very good if you are a token holder, right? So that's, of course, the first and foremost priority, to get real usage and value into the system. But then, like, if there is a case, like, there's, for example, an Acorn case or other cases where they also want to have both transferability and tradability, of course, the more project that comes on, and also the diversity of projects, the more different requirements will naturally arise to like integrations, DEXs or SEXs. It very much depends on the cases and their needs. I would say that's what drives the different integrations. Yeah.
So would it be fair to say that the focus on building these tools at the onset of this year, rather than putting our resources right now on getting on a central exchange, is because we feel that developing the tools will enable utility by allowing other people and partners to jump on top of the network, as opposed to letting the project run wild on a central exchange, because that is a more speculative approach to developing a project, especially in its relatively early stages. Is that the logic there?
Yeah, for sure. Like we cannot make a real integration right now to an exchange, I would guess, because we need to enable those like functions first, technical functions. But it could be like we integrate it to some other platforms, right? Like if we enable the TVM and some atomic swaps or something, that could be something maybe we will do rather quick. Who knows? But again, it also very much depends on the demand and the use cases being put on, I would say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have some really good questions coming in here in the chat. So first one from Simon D. On the same note as open market availability, is there a more commercial-oriented roadmap?
Yeah, so that's actually a fair question. I think now we put on the different like building blocks, which are pretty like, you could say, also objective in a way. And of course, we need those things. We are right now in also a big internal process on strategy and next adoption cases. And we are going to open that up here shortly, within the next 2 to 4 weeks, where we'll give more insights into this, where we can share a more commercial or adoption roadmap, basically, which will be our focus. So that will come rather quick, and it will also involve basically you guys in this, and also the adoption cases.
Yes,
Yeah,
so I guess that's a kind of stay tuned. Stay tuned in a couple of weeks for that.
And that's actually natural. Like now, that's the next. You can say like we go from one era to the next now, and now we start to focus on other big goals, and that's primarily adoption and utility. Yeah.
Cool. Next question from Alex. Given the current availability of tools and the tools rolling out for 2024, what kind of use cases would make sense to pursue to test the mainnet? In other words, who would you like to work with to test this more in the open?
Yeah. Okay. So that's actually a very nice question. So what we do already with some of the partners, Aeon and also Acorn, but actually also other, you could say, token projects. They're of course tokenizing different assets, putting that on the platform. So there we are tokenizing different kind of tokens. It could be land tokens or claim tokens for different nature offset production or other kind of ecological claims, and that's going to grow. So you can use it for tokenization. That's one thing. But the other thing is also like we have actually main features now for doing transaction and having you could say a local community token system. Or we have some basic functions. We have wallets, we have SDKs, we have a main system. We could run like, we could simulate a sub-dart basically with this, or a sub-ecosystem. So we will also very much like start to look into local communities which are in need for their own tokens and community governance. And there are many of such cases all over, basically. that's where there is a big potential, and we would also very much like to go in there and do testing basically rather quick.
Well, yes, these are good questions. And another question from Draven Sur. What about the ability to buy tokens directly from the wallet app?
Oh, I actually don't know if we planned this feature, Christian. I'm Christian is the I don't know if you can jump on stage. He's the product manager from Descartes on who is actually making the Just Pay wallet.
Oh, I'll try. Just 1 second. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So at this point in time, we don't have it on the roadmap that we want to enable people to buy tokens directly in the app. There's different reasons for it. One of them is that we've just had the last bit of the MiCA regulation coming out, and we need to sit down and see what that means for this type of sales, just to see how this is classified from a regulation point of view. But it's not something that can be expected anytime soon.
But I would say I know we discussed this like a couple of weeks ago, right? And not the exact feature, but on how we are going to sell the tokens, because now we are actually live. We have real tokens, and what is our sales channels basically? What can we do, and what's allowed to do basically? And that's actually something which we plan to look into here in March, where we would like to review our sales approach of tokens, because of course it has given us more freedom that we actually live and have real tokens. So we are going to look into this, but we haven't planned the correct concrete features yet. But it's actually maybe not a bad idea, but it's just we haven't planned it. So, but we are going to look into how to open up or you could say sales channels and access to the tokens. But we need to stay on the safe side of the law as well. Yeah.
Cool, guys. I hope this answers your questions. If there's any more, please feel free to post them in. Otherwise, we'll thank you so much for sharing the roadmap. It's nice to understand the trajectory of what's being developed in the short term and where we want to go in the longer run. Now diving a little bit into the app actually and into the backend. Can I invite also Christian back on stage, because you'll be integral here to demonstrate. Yeah, we have a little demo now, so maybe I'll just let you guys introduce it and share what you're actually doing. The floor is yours. Oh, I can't hear you, KV.
What about
Yes,
now?
I can hear
Good.
you now. Yes.
All right. Very good. Okay. So let us take a look at what we have out there at the moment. So I'm going to demonstrate together with Philip. We're going to demonstrate sending a transaction from my wallet, my Just Pay wallet, to Philip's Just Pay wallet. And what I'll do is I'll show you the user interface. Here, I'll do it to the camera, so it'll be so and so with the quality, but it should be possible to see. We tested it earlier. And what Philip will show is what this looks like in the actual production network. So Philip, are you up for that?
Yes.
Yes, very good. I need in a minute. I need you to open your wallet so I can get a QR code from you. Fine? Yeah, that's good. I'll come around and scan in a second. Okay, so let me just. I'll just put focus on myself 1 second. Focus. Okay. So here you see I have my mobile phone and I'm opening up my Just Pay wallet. I was already logged in, so that was quite smooth. If I move myself, I think it'll be able to focus. No, it doesn't want to do that. Then I'll hold it out here. Okay, so what I'll get now is I will ask you, Philip, to help with a QR code or an address. You can actually paste it into the messaging here in the community state, and then I can try to pick it up. Or you can maybe screen dump it into.
Yeah, I just need to go to the chat on my phone. So
It disappeared. What you can do is, Philip, join me next door. Okay, here it is. I just need a smooth way to get this across. Philip, can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, it just went out of Discord when I yeah.
Do me a favor, join me here for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is Philip. Now in a different view, could you just show from your app generate the QR code? Show it to the camera, please. Yeah. And I'm going to scan it. I would like to scan like this, so we can. Yeah, it's gonna be difficult, but we can make it work. So I got Philip's code. I'm going to key in 200, and when I click send, it's going to be sent to the network. And then I want you to be back at your PC.
I actually think I had trouble sharing my screen, so I'll just try.
Yeah, we'll see how it works. We'll just keep. I will unfocus myself. And
Can you just elaborate why Philip had to go to you? And is that, how is that going to work if it's a mobile app and people are in different countries or simply in different buildings?
that's because we've been, as Lucas NetHigh is writing, we've implemented the teleport feature, so we can go around. Now we have there's the Philip actually shared an address with me here at 4:37 in the chat, and I could as well have copy pasted that address. I just don't have a smart way to do that quickly from when we're running the live session, and if I join on Discord from here, maybe transfers and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So the use case we just showed, that is if you're close to someone that you want to transfer to, then you can use the QR code. And if you have need money for someone from the other end of the world, then you need to send the address that is similar to what Philip has shared here.
Yes, and how do you get this address?
So I'll show you in a second. So hold on to that question if I forget about it, because right now I'm here. I want to press send, so I can try to send it to Philip, but I want to make sure that Philip is ready first.
Yeah, I'm completely ready. Do you want me to share my screen now? I can just.
Yeah, that would be great if you could share your screen.
Let's see if it works. I really hope so. Go live.
Let's see.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see there's nothing on it. Is that right?
No, there should be a lot of text.
I only see your mouse.
I'll just try again.
Okay.
Maybe this screen works. I'll just try this one. Then I will have to do it on this one. Okay, this one works. Wait, give me 2 seconds. I just have to reroute. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, we see ourselves.
Yeah, okay.
This is all part of the teleportation process.
Yeah, Christian, you can just press send now. I think we're ready.
Yeah, because we can not see we don't see the log right now.
You don't see the log. What are you then seeing? You're seeing
the
the app.
We see ourselves.
But that's the only application that I'm able to share. I'll just try sharing screen 1, but I'm assuming that I will have the same problem then. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going wrong. It's probably just Linux being Linux, but...
Do me a favor, hold your phone up and then talk us through what is happening on the console, because what we would like to have done here and shown you, great if you could stop your screen sharing again, Philip, otherwise we just have a big black box. But what we would have liked to have shown was that Philip would share the screen that would show the actual running system. And then when I click send, that I'll do now, could you hold up your phone in a second, or we'll just confirm that you can see it in the log files now. So now the transaction has been accepted, and I sent 200 to Philip. It says sending here. on my phone.
I'll just go so I can. Yeah, and I can also see that the network has received it, but unfortunately I can't show it. So I'll try to paste something in the chat afterwards. But now I'm just waiting for an update.
Yeah, and you can see on my system it changed on my phone, so it changed status from sending to sent. That means that the network has accepted it and it has been sent to Philip.
And I don't know if you can see it, but I also received the transaction of plus 200. Yeah.
Yeah, we see that.
So yeah, that was pretty good. I'm so sorry about the screen sharing. It works everywhere else, but it doesn't work apparently in Discord.
Okay. That's fine. What I can tell also is that this is what we're looking at right now. That is the current version of the app that is in the App Store. Philip is on Android. I'm on an iOS, and we will, in a very short time, we will be releasing the next version, and that'll come with some bug fixes that are not visible on the surface. But it will also come with some new features that will make it more robust and easier to use. Is one of the things that has been improved is the installation process. And here, as we keep repeating, one of the main things is that you have to. Thijs, we see you very much up close right now.
Jeg tror, jeg går bare til Christian.
And okay, all right. Sorry for that. But one of the things that is still very, very important to get, and that we have a Medium article about, that is the, when you install the wallet, it's the seed phrase that is so important to keep, and we've improved a bit about around that process. But what we've also done is that we've made a way where it's easier for us to troubleshoot in case something goes wrong. What can happen is that a build can, for various reasons, it can get locked, and we have a way to troubleshoot that in a much easier and much more robust manner going forward. And I think the next thing that we would want to do, that's a good. That was you sharing the article. I think the next thing that we would want to do, Philip, that is to take a tour around the source code.
Yeah, I was thinking about coming into you, because then I can show it on maybe your screen.
That is perfectly all right, except for I don't have any coding environment installed whatsoever.
No. But I think we can just do it from GitHub now that it's open source, so it shouldn't be a problem.
We have a question from the audience here from Draven. So if you lose those initial keywords, is your wallet lost forever?
You can say, could you actually, sorry, just 1 second. I'll just ask Philip to do it from Thijs instead. So the question again.
If you lose those initial keywords, is your wallet lost forever?
If you lose your initial keywords and
is your wallet lost forever? Yes.
Yes, and you have deleted the wallet from your phone. Yes, then it is lost forever. That is one of the units. Yeah.
Yeah, this is really why it's important at this stage to save that phrase in a way where you can always retrieve it.
Yeah, and there's a good guide to this, but this is you can say this is one of the annoying thing about the promise of the freedom that comes with the crypto system. That is that you have to take custody yourself of your own keys, and there's this phrase that says not your keys, not your money, and then not your crypto, and that's the case here as well. It is your keys. You have to guard them, and you cannot share them with anyone whatsoever, because that is the key to your cryptocurrencies. In this case, to your Tagion tokens, TGNs.
There's another question. Any way to move the wallet to a hardware wallet? That's a really good question, actually, in terms of securing your funds in a cold wallet.
Yeah, at the moment we do not have a supported hardware wallet that can be used, but I know that there are great minds in the team that would very much like to make this available. But there are other ways to keep your Tagions securely and offline, so to say. That involves the key phrase, setting up a wallet and then removing it again once you have the seed phrase in place. Then you have the keys as safe as you can hold your the crypto as safe as you can hold your seed phrase.
And just if you, I don't know how technical you are. If you are very technical, you could of course you create your own keys and keywords with your hardware wallet. But of course it's not UX enabled yet. But it depends on your technical level, right? So yeah. So it is possible, but it's not easy, so to speak. I guess. Yeah.
There's another question. Can bot Tagions be stored with Tagion to avoid the risk with the wallet and losing access?
What we can do and what we are doing at the moment is that we are holding on to tokens for people that have invested early and also invested now. And until those have been paid out, you can say then they are with us. But once they're paid out and you have them in your wallet, then you cannot give them back to us and ask us to hold on to them, because then we need to be licensed for being able to take currencies or value into custody. And that's not something that we intend to do. But there are third-party companies that does this for a living. So they promise to do the safekeeping of your keys and your keyword, seed phrase and everything, and your tokens for the matter. And that's their sole purpose in life, so to say. But we cannot hold Tagions in custody on behalf of any of you once they've been paid out.
Cool. Just in the interest of time, let's move on to the source, and then we'll circle back around to the questions in the chat.
I think we just wanted to present the open source repo. So as you can see now, Thijs is not even logged in, but it's a public repo now. So that's pretty nice. And we've also been doing a lot of documentation regarding how you actually set up the system now, how you do stuff. It of course still needs a lot more work, but hopefully in time it will become much more easy for everyone to do stuff. We actually even have a contributing guide now for how you can do contributing. And I also know that Lucas Nethai, he created a good first issue that we're waiting for someone in the community to pick up. So if you're looking for a problem that you can fix in the real world, then I think this is a good one to go ahead and actually start on. But the main thing that we're very proud of regarding this is basically our CI flow, which we have been working a lot on. And this is what it looks like when we actually push code. So first we run some tests in commit stage. These are like quick tests. Then we have some longer tests. We do a unit test. We do D-scanner checks, which checks like D stuff. Then we do D documentation, docs.tagion build, and then we also create an artifact, which is the artifact that we use for everything down the line. So you can see these are all the artifacts that we produce. And we even produce a Docker container as well. If you're on Windows, you can try that out. So I think that's quite cool. And then we have the docs.tagion.org website, which contains more in-depth documentation. This is mostly technical documentation. Can, for example, see like diagrams of how the network works. Then we have a new thing we just added is this Tagion improvement proposals, which is like things we're working on now, which are like changes in the system. So for example, we have the contract tracing for tracing how a contract goes through, which we're working on. And then we have, this is for the new cache that we are finishing this week, where you can see how the new cache will work basically. That's basically like the high level technical documentation that we have. And there's a lot of stuff that you can read on here if you want.
Because there is also the DDoc code, right?
Yeah, there's also the DDoc, but it doesn't work here in Liechtenstein due to some. We have a DNS issue here in Liechtenstein, so I can't access it from here. But yeah, we also have you can basically also go to ddoc.tagion.org to see like code documentation, the low level documentation. Yeah, so that's basically it for like the GitHub repo, and I think we're very happy to have it open sourced because it also in some way makes it possible for other people to take the code and improve on it, which is a very nice thing, and it's much easier to develop in a open environment and not hide anything. I really like that. So I think we're all very, very happy that it's finally open source. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, it's also about trust, right? So as Philip is saying, we're not hiding anything.
Yeah.
It's a value system. It's about security. You need to be able to trust it. There should be no backdoors, no hidden issues, so to speak. It should be secure, and that's actually one of the main reasons such code needs to be open, in our opinion.
Yeah.
If I'm a developer and I want to join and help, if I want to jump on this project, how do I start?
How do you start? I think the first step is to basically set up everything that you need. So if you're on Ubuntu, you can install these tools here. But what I actually would recommend is using Nix, because that's the easiest way. You only need to have the Nix package manager installed, and then you basically just write Nix develop, and then you can just run tests with. You can install the binaries. You can get the documentation inside, and you can run make test in order to run the test, and so on and so on. So that's the basic way to start. And if anyone is interested in doing any work, please reach out to us. We are more than happy to assist in anything, in any problems. Also, if you can improve documentation, if there is missing documentation that you think is needed in order to understand the system, then also feel free to open issues or make pull requests and so on. We are more than happy to help with getting new people on.
Yeah, that's great. Is there anyone in the audience who's a developer and is interested in this? Yeah, feel free to reach out direct. It's just was more for my curiosity. Yeah, I can see also there's some links in the chat, so feel free to explore them. Yeah, amazing. It's amazing to see this opening up and having a hub on the internet where you can start to interact with Tagion. Yeah, and big up for launching live. It's really nice to see all these developments that are coming also. And with regards to documentation, I think that's a really good point also, because that's going to be a major factor in successfully onboarding use cases and utility and projects onto the network. So yeah, just to reiterate, if anyone feels like contributing there, that's probably a good place to start also. Yeah, is there anything anyone wants to add? We got 5 minutes. We can take some more questions. I can see Alex is typing and Vinny. Yeah, so we'll just wait maybe for these questions to come in. But also, yeah, thanks a lot for demoing and showing kind of the backstage, I guess, of where it all happens. It's nice to see. Yes, just a nice big up from Vinny saying great to see the progress. Congrats on the achievements so far. And Alex is asking, who are the people and companies that are currently not in the room that Tagion needs contact to for development towards use cases? It's a great question.
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I think in general, Alex, I don't know if you have time afterwards, because I think I need to explain some context then, or we need to explain some context. But in general, it could be like developers or companies who are doing tokenizations. It could also be both like people who are working with DAOs, local communities. It doesn't need to be called a DAO, like basically social engineering, creating communities, having their own trade unions or trade, you could say, clubs who has access to different kind of economic, you could say, value systems or supply chains, where there could be like a fit for creating our own, you could say, like a credit system or a local token which they can use. That would be very nice to get access to such people who has experience with this and also maybe have some use cases. But I would very much like to discuss it maybe afterwards or tomorrow or tonight or basically it would be great.
Maybe this conversation could also be taken in plenum. We can just drop this question in the chat on Discord, and it could be continued there for everyone to follow. Oh yes, exactly. And Carsten Bitquid says that we also need web explorers for the network. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so if somebody knows people who are good at building like explorers, like Ethereum explorers or other great UXs basically who would like to build such a tool, please say so. Then we would very much like to talk with those people as well. Yeah, maybe also people who are used to build SDKs, like it could be plugins for Node.js or .NET Core or similar to build actually both runtime SDKs, but also you could say Token Studios contract SDKs. If anybody knows people who are used to this, and again also local community managers and so forth who are used to work with those kind of things which I described before. What more actually? Yeah.
Nice. Alex says, thanks, happy to talk more later, and congrats, team, on the momentum. Thanks, guys. And this brings us nicely to the end of the town hall. Really great to see interaction from the audience. Thanks a lot. It's always great to hear from you guys. Thanks to the core team for showing where we're at and where we're going. Also really great to see. And happy New Year. Let's keep the conversation rolling, and everyone feel free to chat on the general or in any channel that you want. Thank you so much, guys, and see you next time. Stay tuned for more.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.